In 3 big cities in the Chubu region, the researcher facilitated 2 English classes and workshops with 10 to 15 senior citizens, students, per class. In 2 other cities, one of the researchers taught in an Eikaiwa, or English conversation school. The third age learners, mostly women. I noticed that kind of 90% to 95% women. And they attend conversation school or Eikaiwa once a week. And the third age learners, mostly women, the researcher was impressed by this kind of persistence, despite of the some age-related difficulties that they encounter, they experience, they still go weekly. So this is the kind of the phenomenon that I was like curious about, and I said, yeah, why don't we investigate? Why are these people still studying? They can enjoy, travel or vacation or whatever, but instead they spend their time inside the classroom or kind of Eikaiwa. So that's the local of the study in Chubu. I mentioned actually the cities, but the other peer reviewer said, just hide the identity of the cities. Just name the region. It's part of the ethical considerations of the study. Therefore, the primary objective of this phenomenological study is to explore the lived experiences of Japanese senior citizens studying English in Chubu, Japan. The phenomenon explored in this study was the event or the act of the senior citizens in learning English despite their age. Specifically, it investigated the senior citizens' motivations and reasons for learning English, the challenges, the strategies, and the perceived values of learning English. Well, in terms of methodology, a descriptive phenomenological research was utilized in this study, using Edmund Husserl's modified by Mustafa's, the kind of phenomenology that they had. This type of research method explores and describes as accurately as possible the essence of an individual or group's conscious experience of their life or world experience. So this method is appropriate for exploring the lived experiences of Japanese third age learners in learning the English language. So using a purposive sampling technique, there were 8 Japanese participants using a semi-structured in-depth interview. And then the researcher used a semi-structured interview and data saturation until we found all the kind of same data from each participant. So that's a data saturation. And then I use also the bracketing technique in phenomenology. This to avoid influencing the result, influenced by my preconceived idea. So this kind of bracketing. I separate myself from the answers of the participants. So I bracket myself. And after that, there was a debriefing just to have a closure after the data gathering. So there were 8 senior citizens who participated in this, all women. So the data were then transcribed and uploaded to in vivo to be organized, analyzed, classified, and coded. The researchers used Richmond's 3 C's, the coding, categorizing, and identifying concepts. In the coding phase, the transcripts were reread and codes were assigned. In the categorizing phase, the codes were reread and categories were identified too. In the concept identification phase, themes were drawn out from the categories. The number of themes depended on the collected data. The researchers adopted the 4 strategies: the credibility, transferability, dependability, and confirmability proposed by Lincoln and Cuba to establish the trustworthiness of the data. Quality time was spent on data gathering until saturation, and the methodology and procedure were clearly explained. All claims were based on the data provided by the participants. The researchers observed ethical practices in this study, such as obtaining a signed informed consent. This is very important. and following ethic of honesty, integrity, caring, and non-judgmental and non-denigrating language. So I also employed or invited an interpreter to give justice to the answer of the participants. Because I'm not a fluent Japanese speaker, I can understand, but some answers of the participants are really, they require interpreters. So with that, their answers were given justice. And here are the results. Several themes emerged in the detailed experiences of the participants. The three major themes were motivations, adversities, and adaptations. Under motivations, the sub-themes included travel, the opportunity to, where's that? Socialization and mental emotional well-being and lifelong learning. Under adversities, the sub-themes were opportunities, cognitive ability, and linguistic and cultural differences. The sub-themes under adaptations were the use of media and socialization. Let's look at some of the answers of the participants. The participants had a collective answers when asked, at this point in your life, why do you still learn English? It's kind of general question. Now, most of them were quick to share that they were motivated by their desire to travel, the popularity of English, the joy of learning, and then as hobbies. So it's important also in their lives. So it's value in their mental and emotional well-being. It is not surprising that most of the participants have already traveled, not around the world, but many countries already. Mm-hmm. Most of them have already visited more than 5 countries and are still planning to visit more in the coming years despite the pandemic. So these are the questions.
Tagalog.
To speak Tagalog. So if I go abroad, I want to speak the local language. If I go abroad, English will be very helpful to me. English is convenient to use in foreign countries. This is from participant number 2. And participant 8 said, I study English to avoid troubles when traveling abroad and for stress-free communication with foreigners. So these are some of their answers. The popularity of English, just like in many countries, the English language is popular also in Japan. Most of the participants skip on learning English because the first one, most Japanese people learn English throughout middle and high school and university because English is the common language of the world. So this is from participant 1. And participant 8 said, because we learn English as a foreign language in our junior high school years. If I learn German at junior high school years, of course I would choose German. So kind of consistency.
Sorry. Basically, it doesn't really matter what the language is. It's just to do something, and because they had already started studying English,
Something like that. Yeah. So there's already a kind of established pattern in there. So let me just continue this. And then he said, okay, if I started German, so I would probably continue with the German. In this case, so they started with the English. So yeah, they're still studying English. The desire to socialize and meet new friends, especially foreigners, was also among the motivations for the participants to learn English. So below are some of their answers. The first time I met these people, or this group, it was because of English. English is very helpful to make friends, so according to participant 1. I studied in junior high school and in high school, but that didn't help me. I learned them, but I forgot them. Then I started learning English again when I met foreign friends. I want to speak English fluently with foreigners. So this is from participant 5. So socialization. Another sub-theme, the participants were conscious of their mental and emotional well-being. So below are their answers. I want to try to do something good physically and mentally, like mental exercise is good for the brain or mind. Learning English may help me prevent dementia. Yeah, they do the research. For us, getting older, the brain and body are getting worse, and we have to keep ourselves healthy. So studying English helps because I use my brain, and it continues to function. So that's from there. Okay, so research-based. Let's see if it's really connected to recent research. So the participants share some indicators of people committed to lifelong education. Especially in Japan, we have this lifelong learning in the vision mission of the Ministry of Education. Most participants are devoted to continuous learning, personal improvement, and sharing their knowledge. The indicators are expressed in their answers. Improving English skills is necessary. Continuous improvement is very important. Actually, it is necessary for studying not only English, but also other things. That's from participant 1. I am saying that I keep on studying or learning English because it's challenging to me. And I like challenges that interest me. So this is from participant 4. The participants share their experiences related to challenges of learning English. Most of their answers were subcategorized under opportunities, cognitive ability, and linguistic and cultural differences. Most of the participants lack opportunities to use English in their daily lives. So some of them express their experiences this way. I rarely meet foreigners in our city, so speaking English is limited to my Japanese friends. We are not native speakers of English, so we are not sure if we are speaking correct English. Lack of opportunity. I don't have enough opportunities to use English to maintain my level of English. This is from participant 1. Maybe you guys can go to their city because they don't see a lot of foreigners there. Well, cognitive ability, another challenge that participants encountered was difficulty related to cognition. Some find it hard to remember or memorize vocabulary, including grammar patterns. Or some of the participants share the following. I can't remember English words sometimes, and I can construct grammatically correct sentences. Memorizing is difficult, so I read articles to make it easier for me to memorize and learn the words. Just words, because memorizing is difficult for me and for my age. So these are from participants 3 and 4. So if you guys are teaching senior citizens, so we already know what other experiences when it comes to memorizing. So no homeworks. Then, linguistic and cultural differences. The linguistic and cultural differences between English and Japanese languages were also challenging for some participants. These are some of their answers. You know, in Japanese, explanation is usually complicated. But in English, it is usually simple and direct. In Japanese, you have to read and think between the lines. Yeah, that's true. But for participant 3, in Japanese, we don't usually mention the subject in the sentence, especially if the subject is the speaker. And we say the verb at the end. But in English, we always say the subject before the verb. So sometimes I get confused and mention the verb at the end of my English sentences. So I maybe you guys notice this when you are speaking with Japanese students. So verbs at the end. So just like the patterns. And then the adaptation. If there were challenges, there were also some strategies that the participants generously shared. Most of them utilized media, especially the internet, which came in handy with their mobile phones. They also made use of their community to keep learning English. So the participants made use of the available media to keep learning English. These are some of their answers. Actually, I watch American movies every night. It's a good strategy for me. My listening skill is improving and I can enjoy the movie. For participant 4, by reading the newspaper, I gradually became interested in other countries and the world news. So, reading the newspaper is very helpful to me. And also I use a mobile application called Duolingo. Do you guys know Duolingo?
Yeah.
Perfect. So, they use it. And one of my students, he said, just last Saturday, he said, this Duolingo is crazy. I think I will uninstall this. I said, why? Because I don't do anything the whole day. I play the games because he's doing the ranking. He always wants to be at the top. There's a guy who came like that in the Duolingo and he said, I will uninstall this. It's making me stressed. I said, okay. It's after Duolingo. Well, in terms of The participants affirm the role that their social lives play in the continuous improvement of their English. Some of their answers are expressed like this: I prefer to study in a group because it's fun. If I'm studying alone, I get bored and I can't keep studying. So community is very especially important for them. I keep learning English by going to Saturday Mates. So the group is called Saturday Mates. So depends on the city, so they have different names. The other one is a beer group, kind of old boys, old guys, but beer group they call it. That's for participant 3 and participant 8. Just a brief discussion. Many participants strongly desire to travel and visit various countries, which is a substantial motivator for learning English. This motivation stems from the practical requirement to communicate with their natives, with either natives or other nationalities, and navigate foreign environments. In line with previous studies, social connections and ability to connect with others are important motivators. So these are previous studies that affirms the result of this study. So social connection and ability to connect with others are important motivators too. So previous research similarly found out that learning English among the third age learners brought social cognitive benefits to their lives, promoted mental health, developed linguistic skills, self-actualization, general well-being, and quality of life, and positive effects on the brain. So these are previous studies, recent studies that affirm the results of these studies also, this study. So participants' strong desire for personal improvement, cultural connection, and the quest for meaningful experience is at the heart of their motives. Learning English is more than just a functional necessity. It is a multifaceted journey that includes self-discovery, intellectual engagement, and a sense of purpose. So these highlighted words, some kind of very important words that define the essence of their experience, since this is a phenomenological studies. The participants' effort to bridge the gap between language instruction and real-world language is at the heart of the issues. These issues reflect the conflict between their desire to communicate successfully in English and the real limitations they face. The heart of participants' learning strategies is their proactive and adaptive approach to language acquisition. They use current technology, social connections, and a commitment to regular practice to overcome obstacles and continue their English language journey. So overall, the essence of the participants' act of learning the English language is the search for personal growth, cultural connectedness, and flexibility in the face of adversity. Their goals push them to explore the world through language. Their obstacles push them to find innovative answers, and their learning methodologies reflect their commitment to ongoing progress. Each part of their encounters, whether motives, problems, or learning tactics or strategies, contributes to a rich tapestry of lived experiences underlining the essence of their journey. In essence, the experiences of the participants in learning English go beyond the realms of language acquisition. Their journey represents an in-depth examination of self, culture, and the complex interplay of motivation and adversity. The researchers, we see the enduring human spirit's capacity for growth and adaptation through the lens of transcendental phenomenology. These people are living proof that the significant changes can occur when we embark on a journey motivated by a strong desire for connection and personal enrichment. So in conclusion, the transcendental phenomenological study reveals a fascinating journey characterized by motivations, adversities, and adaptation. This journey is essentially about personal development and cultural connection and flexibility. Participants are motivated by a strong desire to transcend linguistic and cultural boundaries, and their motivations extend from the practical requirement to converse when traveling to the joy of pursuing a lifelong passion. This journey, however, is not without difficulties. Participants face challenges such as restricted opportunities for real-world language use, cognitive challenges, and the intricacies of bridging cultural and linguistic disparities. These difficulties are a natural part of their lives, acting as catalysts for growth and adaptability. In response to these hurdles, participants adopt a variety of proactive strategies. They use current media, encourage socialization in group situations, and emphasize the significance of constant practice. Their learning practices exhibit resilience and a dedication to continual growth, capturing the essence of their transformative journey. So, how about the limitations of the study? Of course, this is very limited. The study has various limitations that must be considered when interpreting the findings. The participants, who were all women, were few and limited to 3 cities in Japan's Chubu region. This could affect how well the findings apply to a bigger group of men and women. So, in that case, that could be a starting point for future research, future studies. For example, based on the results of the study, researchers may perform comparable investigations in other parts of Japan using a qualitative or quantitative design to reach generalizable conclusions. Further research may look into how to develop cognitive flexibility in third-age learners, as well as the exploration of Japanese pragmatics in this group of students. This is in the area of linguistics. Future studies may also investigate third-age learners' English proficiency to develop a tailored curriculum and learning materials, because today we haven't found materials perfect for third-age learners, because most of the materials that we use are from senior high school or those preparing for Aiken or TOEIC or IELTS, but it's not really tailored for them. So I think there is a need to do that for third-age learners, who's getting bigger and bigger every year in Japan. Future researchers may consider the following topics: cross-cultural communication competence in third-age learners, policy implications for promoting third-age English language learning and quality of life in later years, a narrative inquiry into the language learning journey of third-age learners in Japan, and facilitator or teacher's perspective on teaching English to third-age learners. If you guys are teaching adults or third age, so the study could be from your perspective. Could be ethnography, public ethnography, something like that. Well, what happened? And these are some of the references. There are lots of them, of course. And yeah, you guys have some questions? Oh yes, Miss Stacy.
What's the first age learner? What's the second age learner?
Oh, it's not totally conventional yet, but there are the literature says third age, like the schoolers, like from the regular school, like how should I say that? Elementary, junior high school, and university. First age, and then the adult is like the second age is like the working age, from the time you graduate from the university up to the point of before the retirement, and then the third age is that when you retire from your regular work up to you live until you want to live. So this is the third age, so first, second, and third.
Thank you. And I have one more question.
Yes, please.
You only surveyed 8 people. Is that because it was Corona times? Because I'm in a rural area, and there was easy in a culture school. There was 20 senior citizens. I could definitely hook you up to more senior citizens. If
Absolutely, yeah. if your question is why is it only 8?
Yeah.
In quantitative study, we usually have like 5 participants to 11 because when you, for example, study the data that you gather, like transcribing them and analyzing them, coding them, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. That's why if you have in vivo, like software like that, which is very expensive, you can have your work easier. But having it more than 8, 10, or 11 is really, really hard work. You will spend a lot of time there transcribing. You're welcome. Yes, please. Suzuki-san.
Yes. The title of your presentation is Lost in Translation. What is lost?
Oh, thank you very much for that. It's actually kind of linguistic beauty of making some catchy title for that. But that is from the result of the study. Some of the participants from the linguistic and cultural differences, when they were talking with like foreigners who were trying to translate some Japanese concepts to English, they got lost. Where's the essence of the idea that they're translating? So most of the students, they said like, we couldn't do it. Like what we were saying, like we reduced it to something insignificant or not substantial, not meaningful to English, because they are trying to translate cultural clause, like cultural concepts that are absent in English or in other culture. So it's really a cultural kind of thing. So cultural challenge. So that's why they got lost in translation. Yeah, I hope I answered that.
So lost in translation means that losing the beauty or intricacies or implication of the language into another language. Is that what you are talking about? But
Yeah.
They have no idea how to translate A language to B language. Is that what you mean? Which case are you meaning?
That's exactly what you're saying. From A language to B language. If the knowledge is not enough, like for example, I speak with them. I'm not fluent in Japanese. They speak with me. They're not fluent in English. We were trying to kind of translate the concept, the cultural, for example, itadakimasu in English, or gochu-sama deshita, to English. We were trying to translate that, but we couldn't catch the essence, the real meaning of that in English, simply because this doesn't exist in English. So in that case, they just give up like, we can't do it. We couldn't do it, like we're lost. Except maybe if they have with other people who are expert in English, in language A and language B, that could be a perfect situation. They will never get lost. So it could be the ideal thing, but in our case, we're lost. Even I myself. I'm not a native speaker of English. I am a Filipino. My language is Tagalog. So you heard some of that before. So I could only help with the English that I know.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you very much for that question. Yes, sir.
Connected maybe to her question. You said they were all women participants. Is it they had to volunteer, or did they know that this is kind of a research, or the men were not interested?
Actually, this is a beautiful question. My original plan was to include like half-half, like 50% for men, for women. But when I told my advisor that most of the classes were like 90 to 95% women, he said like, why don't you just focus on women? Since
That was your choice.
it's my choice.
Oh, okay.
That's why it's a purposive sampling. Like I like this, it's my purpose. So purposefully, I choose participants. Yeah. Oh, we can do that also. Maybe in another study. Beauty, like men and women. Something like that. Thank you.
would you believe that it will make any difference in when you do study? Do you think that it will make any difference from your point of view about, oh, I only have women? Would it make a difference, or do you think it's the same?
Oh, that's very interesting because in my experience, men, at least in our group, men are more proficient in English, which is actually in this is a preliminary study in my dissertation, which I'm finishing this month and next month. The English proficiency of the Japanese third age learners. The end is producing tailored fit curriculum, instructional materials for them, which I found out that men are more higher in English proficiency than women. So I think, in my opinion, at least you're asking my opinion. Yeah, I believe it could be different for men because their experiences could be explained more, could be richer. I don't know yet, but maybe. That's remain to be done. No more?
You said one thing that got them motivated was traveling. Do you think they actually really do this? So I have maybe not senior, but adults, and they would tell me also, not doing research, but just asking me why do you study English? Because they are not forced to study English. So they have to, and then they tell me the same. I want to travel, but actually they never really travel abroad. And if they go abroad, it's a package tour where everybody speaks Japanese, the tour guide, and they actually never talk to a person who's not speaking Japanese. So it's more a kind of a desire. And even in this early citizen, they never went abroad, they still kind of think, oh, one day I will go abroad, and then I will talk to those people.
I don't know.
It's just like,
but there are two of the participants I just met last week. They are going to UK, two of them, but Japanese. So most probably they will be speaking Japanese, but at least they will experience also speaking. But I'm not sure if they really do it. Yeah.
There's some barriers when you're over 75. It's not easy to travel. So I think maybe those are under, like between 60 and 75 perhaps would be more active in traveling. It just becomes too hard. And I think about the men and women, that the men tend to have had business experience abroad, so that might be one of the influencing points why their fluency is much higher. Other women were at home raising children.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. That came out also in the study. In the next study that I did, they have the business trips abroad. Thank you.
May I see the last conclusion sheet why they study English, including traveling and why they do journey. Oh yes. Profound exploration of self-discovery, intellectual engagement, and
this refers to the experience.
But I wonder if those are just real reasons why they study English. Why 90% of students of third age, your definition is women, not men.
Exactly. That's a limitation of this study. It's limited for.
That seems very strange. In my understanding, I haven't done research, but because the reason why most of the third age learners are women, because they are influenced by mass media and they regard English as a fashion, like a jewelry.
Could be, yeah.
That's a real reason, in my understanding. And that's an ulterior motives.
Yeah, it's a very personal
If those are just the real reasons, the percentage portion between men and women should be drugs.
Yeah, that's why it's suggested at the end that further study could be done.
Okay, thank you.
Focusing. Yeah, thank you very much. It's very interesting. Yeah, yes, sir. Go ahead.
What amazed me about this is when you look at senior citizen, you mentioned a lot about the growth, looking for growth, looking for challenges and self-discovery, and you interview them. So can you tell us more about what do they talk about when they mention about self-study and growth and challenges? Because it's still amazing because when you're tired, it's like, oh, I just don't want to do anything, but they're still seeking for something meaningful. So what do they usually talk about, mention about when they talk about, what do they mean when they say self-study, self-discovery, and inner growth and challenges? What challenges, what growth are they looking for at that age?
Yeah, actually one of the participants mentioned that she likes studying, taking things that are challenging for her because it challenges her. So actually, she means that, for example, the answer was long. She said that, for example, she likes to be physically fit and she wants to have a lot of activities. For example, Zumba, and the other one is aerobics. And she said, aerobics is more challenging to me than Zumba, so I prefer aerobics because it challenges me more. So something like that, like it brings out, it challenges her, it brings out maybe the best in her if she does that. And there are more answers if kind of it doesn't fit in the descriptions already. Yes, please.
You mentioned before that there's a lack of materials for third age learners. You said that it's mainly for like high school students, junior high school students, and like test takers. So I wanted to know if you found any strategies or any tips or advice for third age learners, and then for teachers of third age learners. Is there anything that like worked for them or anything that we should know?
You're advanced. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
The next study is coming up where we propose not only strategies but instructional materials, which will be checked by Sir David.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll be contacting him to do the evaluation of the material before it go to publication. So it's 24 chapters, context-based studies, and at the beginning of that we have some recommendations and how to teach and what are the motivations of the third age learners, what's their interest, etc. So it's in there. So you are really advanced.
All right, so I'll keep an eye out. Maybe see you at the next expo.
Absolutely, yeah, probably I'll be able to present that in the next expo.
All right, thank you.
Thank you too. Yeah, I'm excited about that because I'll be presenting my dissertation next month. So I am spending a lot of sleepless nights for this. Thank you very much. Stacey, you have some more?
Oh, it's time.
It's time, yeah, I think. Yeah, good. You're welcome. And thank you very much, everyone, for coming over here. よろしくお願いします。